Welcome to another tutorial video on our music tech class here on the Tohoto Music YouTube channel. And in this class, we are going to be working on Midi and how Midi works both in and out and what that entails. At the end of this project, students will understand what Midi stands for and how it is used. They will understand how to compose a basic tune using Noteflight, understand the differences between a .m4a file and a .mid file, understand how to export MIDI files from both Noteflight and Logic for the purpose of using those files in either Logic or Noteflight. Previously learned skills that we're going to be using is how to import and export not just audio files, but files in general, because we're going to be doing that a lot. Criteria. You are to recreate a piece of music in your own Noteflight account. After you have recreated the example, you must add an ostinato bass pattern with quarter notes. Ostinato, if you remember back with days of Miss Richards or Miss Denny, is a repeating pattern, so not complicated. It's literally maybe going back and forth between two notes on the bass line. And honestly, you compose a bass line on that first measure and you can copy and paste it for the other measures. That's all I'm asking for in this situation. When you have completed your composition, you are to export it as two different files. I want a PDF, which is a copy of the sheet music that you wrote, and that will be uploaded not just into the classroom, but also into your portfolio. I also need you to export it as a MIDI file, which we will then be importing into Logic. Once you have imported the MIDI file into Logic, you can then choose what instrument you want to play your music. This is what we call changing the plugin, as those digital musical instruments are, in a sense, plugins in Logic. So you are going to choose your own plugin. When you've completed that, you can export the audio file and upload that into the Google Classroom as well as your portfolio. So what is Midi? Midi stands for Music Instrument Digital Interface, and it is an industry standard of how to use computers in the world of music. It also allows us to use musical instruments as a way to use a computer. What I mean by that is that you can use a keyboard, a music keyboard, like a piano keyboard, as an extension keyboard to your computer, so that if you have a recording program like Logic, you can record a MIDI file directly into Logic. Everything that you did on that keyboard, the computer will recreate. Excuse me. It also allows you, if you have a composition program, to compose music using that keyboard rather than having to manually plug in every single note. We can also use it in the other way, using software programs like Noteflight, or I shouldn't say Noteflight, that's a website, like Logic, or even if you have a composition software program like I use Sibelius, you can use those programs to actually play a musical instrument, like a digital electric drum kit, a keyboard, or a synthesizer. It used to be that you used the interface was these two plugs. One was MIDI in and one was MIDI out. And you had to have a converter that then would plug into your computer. But it has been completely simplified with the adoption of USB plugs for all those systems. Although you do still see MIDI in and out on some electronic instruments. We're going to walk through the project right now, and I'm going to go pretty quickly because I'm running out of time. But this is a pretty simple project. It shouldn't take more than one class period to get to at least our PDF submission. And even so, as long as you don't take too much time on choosing what sound you want to play, it shouldn't take much time either. So we're going to go into Noteflight. And when you go into Noteflight, when you log in, once you create your account, you're going to find it looks something like this. You have a list. Well, you don't have anything. I have lots of stuff because I've done some stuff with jazz bands and guitar classes. But you are going to just have a list of nothing. And what you're going to do is you're going to hit Create. And it's going to ask you if you want to start from a blank score sheet or start by importing an XML, which is a score file, or a Midi file. Keep note of this because we will be doing this on the next project. But we're going to start off with a blank score sheet. When it pops up, you have the standard piano sheet music. We have a treble clef and a bass clef. And in the music that I've provided for you to recreate, there's only music in the treble clef. Now, this is pretty straightforward because you will be able to import music by just clicking. You can change the length of the note by having your duration. Do not click on duration because if you do, it disappears. And then you have to go find it in the menu. So we're, like I said, do not get rid of duration, and don't mess with tempo. A lot of people will assume that this is where we change our length of our notes. This is not where we change the length of our notes. This is where we change the length of the notes. Because I don't have any notes imported, it's telling me they're all rests. So I'm going to start by importing a note. And it also plays as I put it down. I'm going to change the length of, oh, no, I'm not. So it changes the length of the note that is highlighted orange. Keep that in mind. I'm going to change that one. Now, I can import it again, making sure that my note length is accurate. But I could have also, because we like to save time, people, we like to be lazy. If I highlighted the measure, clicking on that measure once, turning it all orange, I can copy using your computer shortcut for copy. So if you're in my class, we're using Macintoshes, Apples, Command C to copy. I can then go into the next one, Command V to paste. Keep your life simple. Keep it easy because we do not want to do more work than we have to. Now, as you can see, I've run out of time. I got to change this to an eighth note. And guess what? I'm going to keep my life easy. So I've got my eighth notes. I can import it just like I did before. Just kind of choose my note length. If you messed up, you don't have to delete it. You can move it up or down with the arrow keys. Change the note length and import it that way. You can also, if you are familiar with a keyboard, your keyboard in front of you will not work because you have to pay a subscription fee. But if you click up here for keyboard, you can import it this way. By the way, Noteflight works on all internet connected devices. So if you have an iPad, you can actually type the keyboard on the iPad and compose that way. If you have an iPhone or any smartphone, it will do the same thing. You can access these files and compose right then and there. And so there I have it. I've recreated the file that I will be sending to you guys. And now it is up to you to come up with a bass line that sounds good. Keep that in mind. I don't want just random stuff because it's not going to sound good. If I wanted to hear what it sounds like, I click on a note, highlight it orange, and hit space. Can hit space again. In order to get back to the edit, you have to click edit or shortcut escape twice to get back into our edit mode. And that was disgusting sounding, so I'm going to delete that. And it is up to you for the baseline of what you want to do. Keep in mind, once you've finished, you can create a title for the song. Let's see. There we go. And you hit this icon, the cloud with the up arrow. We have one here. We have one here. You're going to click that and save it. And once you have it done, you are going to click the other cloud icon, the cloud with the down arrow, and you're going to export it. Here we have our full score PDF. I want you to export it as a PDF and download it as a PDF, and then submit that PDF into your Google Classroom, but also a Midi file. You can click on Midi for musical performances. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And as you can see, it has popped up on my downloads, and I can now import it into Logic. I have my Logic project right here. Literally just drag it in. I'm going to import the tempo, and there we go. But I don't want piano, I want something else. So I'm going to click on my library icon right here in the top left. And I can choose anything. Let's see. Oh, got to make sure that it's the track that I want to mess with. So I can go into synthesizers, go into synth lead, and let's go to Trap Alert Synth. From there, you're going to export your file as an audio file. Again, this is our 6th project, so you're going to do save it as save 6 dot Noteflight to Logic and your initials. Save it, export it, and then you can also export it once you save it and upload it into the Google Classroom. So I should have a Midi file and a PDF of your composition into your Google Classroom. And that's it. Our next class, we're going to be doing the exact opposite, where we're going to learn how to record in Logic a Midi file and then export that Midi file into Noteflight. So keep tuned, hit that subscribe button, as well as the that bell icon so that you are notified when I upload this video for our next project. And until then, good luck and have fun.